Hello guys, Craig from Fix It Fellows, and I am in my work vehicle, which is a Vito W639. It's a 113 model, a Euro 5. Okay, so if your Vito looks anything like this, then you have a similar model. My trouble that I'm having today is the blower fans have packed up working. I say they've packed up working, they don't work on 1, 2, 3, 4. They will work on number 5, so I'll get full power but not the lower values. Now that sort of indicates to me that it is the resistor regulator pack on the blower that's packed up. So we're just going to have a little dive into that and find out. So, as I say, if you have the same vehicle as me, your dashboard should look like this, and you'll have a cubby hole here, and the first thing you want to do is remove these two rubber grommets from here and here, and that reveals two screws in there which are Torx heads. Okay, so I've undone both of those, so they're black in colour, these screws here. For this job you'll only need a Torx screw bit, but two different sizes. So what size do we have here? Yeah, so these ones are T20s, and then this tray with a little bit of lifting, as you see, it comes up. So it comes up and slides forward. So let's just get these screws out. There's one. There's the other. We can put those to the side. And if you have parking sensors and you have the display there, you will have a wire attached at the back, and there's enough slack on it just to lift it forward and pass it to the side. And then that reveals your whole blower mechanism. So inside here is the blower, so you've got a turbine fan there, and in the middle is the motor. You've got your main power connection here, and this is the resistor pack. This literally just clips onto this housing. You can unclip it in situ, but I'm going to show you taking the lid off of the motor. It comes out quite easy. This at the back, far back here, is the what do you call it, the recirculation valve. In fact, if I turn on the ignition, you can see that operate. There we go, ignition's on. If I press the recirculation button, there you see it's operating the relevant valve, and off again. There it goes. Now we just need to unplug the power to that recirculation module, because this wire here kind of traps the lid down. So let's get on with that. So let's push the tab down and offer it out. There we go, and it slides around and underneath there, and that can be pulled out of the way. Then your main power plug, squeeze it in at the side, that comes out, and then your plug there to the modules, a clip here and a clip underneath, or at the other opposite end. Okay, there you go. There is that disconnected. You can see that's got, what's that, got 5 wires going to it. Yeah, so that controls the amount of voltage going to your fans. So now that's left to be done is to get those Torx heads out. I believe they are number 15s of Torx heads, so we'll whip them out and then we can lift this cover off. Okay, there are the 3 screws out that hold the lid on for the blowers there. See, they're silver in colour, different to the screws that hold in the main sort of stowage unit in there. And now you can lift out this whole unit. So it kind of lifts up at the front. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Okay, and then there out it comes. So this is your module here. It's got some tabs. It may or may not have a screw in here, but you just have to prise this tab to the left, this one to the left, then it lifts up and slides out. Simple job to take that off. So there you go, there's the heater control resistor module. It's manufactured by a company called BHR, and there's the connections, and in there is a series of coils. I guess they've got varying degrees of resistance, hence you get different speeds, but ultimately there is a resistor in there, which I think is what fouls. Sometimes the tracks or traces on the backside of that pink PCB break, but I'm on the roadside and I need to get this fixed right now because it's currently 32 degrees and I cannot work 10 hours without the blowers. The other thing is, this board is very well situated into this plastic moulding, with these blade connectors definitely not going to pass back through those holes. It's almost like it was moulded in situ. So I could spend hours trying to break this apart, go home, not work, but instead I'm just buying a replacement. Again, I've paid a little bit on the nose for this. This is 38 quid, but it's here, it's in my hand, it can go in the vehicle right now. There we go. So it's even labelled up genuine Mercedes. There we go, there's the new one. Nice, bright and shiny, like for like replacement. Let's chuck it in there. Let's chuck it back in the void and see whether we have improvement. So just to prove the point, this is actually the blower itself. So the motor's in the middle, you've got your two fans at each end, so the spindle on the motor goes at each end. That's your main power feed. These wires here go off to your control knob. They come back through this loom. This is the connection that goes to the side of the resistor there. So when you select 1, 2, 3 or 4, the power is fed through these cables, through this resistor, back, and you only get X amount of voltage supplied to the motor and X the corresponding amount of RPM. When you select number 5 or whatever is your maximum, there is no involvement in this unit at all. All the oomph goes straight to the motor, and hence you get full RPM, full blowage. And that is why often when this fouls, you will still get your maximum blower working. So for example, I shall show you, I've got my ignition on. Okay, I shall have to be careful because the motor's not properly secured in there, but it will work. I can go to 0, go to 1, nothing. Go to 2, nothing. 3, nothing. 4, nothing. And ready, 5. Boom, we have action. Now, I'm going to connect this up. Just bear with me a second. So there we go, we've got the new module on. I'm now going to offer it just up to the dashboard, plug in the connectors there, and see whether we now have control on the 1, 2, 3 and 4 setting. So there we go, look, I've got it all plugged in. I'm just going to temporarily turn ignition on and see whether those blades now turn. So let's set it to number 1. Yep, we're now spinning. And number 2. 3. Yep, we're all good. I can get this back together. Okay, don't forget to connect this plug back to your mechanism here. This is the mechanism that decides whether you recirculate or don't recirculate air. This goes back in once you put the lid back on this. You have to disconnect it to get the lid off. So anyway, that's all seated in there properly. Let's get the lid back on. Okay, that's back in. So you put this side in first and then you offer this down. It just gets a little bit caught on the front, on these front edges there, but it does go in. Now you can put your power lead back in like so. clicked home. Then it's time to put this bolt in, screw in there, and then two here and here. Connect up this cable back to the recirculation valve. I did have a it's meant to go underneath there. Let's take that back out. There we go, underneath. Click that back in, clip the wire back into its little holder there. Then connect up your main control plug to your resistor pack. There we go. Yeah, I'll put those screws back in. Just as a little tip for when putting these silver screws back in that holds for holding the lid onto that blower motor. These are not magnetic. Your bit won't hold these. So push the screw for a little bit of masking tape like that, and then offer your screw onto the end of your bit, and then stick the screw onto your bit, and then you can offer the screw down into the relevant holes, do it up. It doesn't really matter whether the masking tape stays down there or not. It'll probably aid you getting the screws out in the future if needs be, or you just pull out the masking tape. But that's a nice little trick for you. Okay, so just as a little tip for getting this stowage unit back in to your dashboard, it may be just because on my unit I've got parking sensors, so I've got this unit at the back, but I should imagine you'll have this plate here whether you've got parking sensors or not. But I found that this back edge was failing on the far side of the dashboard there, meaning I couldn't get the unit back in properly and flush. So as a little trick to that, I've just prised up the 4 tabs along here that hold this in place, so it's now sort of a little bit elevated, so this edge will not fail on the back of the dashboard. But you need to ensure that the front edge is still clips in, because you cannot put this unit in situ as the windscreen gets in the way. This has to go in at an angle. So anyway, lift up the back edge and it will make your life a little bit easier. So now we can offer it into place. Making sure the cable has a safe run. So offering it into place, push it back into place, and you can now see that that's all flush, and that back edge I can just push down, clip those back into place, so that's all good. And now it's just a case of putting those 2 screws back in there and the rubber caps. So there you go guys, there's another fix on my Mercedes W639. The heater blower fan has been resolved. Simple enough fix, anyone can do it. Thanks again for watching. Please be sure to check out some of my other videos, and as ever, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you again soon. Cheers.